Guys, it's your boy Az. We are back here with another video for you guys today. Happy Sunday. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Now, we will be chatting here today about the unlock method for Eclipse. So for those of you guys that don't know, she was announced on the recent Friday blog, and she's going to be coming into the game here as the next MSF original character. And it is unique because we've had several different original characters in the past here, including Kestro, Vol, and like Spider Weaver, and never in those times in those situations were we ever forced to build teams to get their unlock. They were all fairly free to play friendly, and yeah, this has concerned me a little bit because like, is this the new normal? Like, is this going to be an expectation moving forward? And of course, as well, we as players will need to adapt to that. And so, with regards to this video, we will be looking at the two teams side by side, Champions and the Winter Guard, because those are the two teams that will be required. One of them, I guess, in this case, will be required for basically for her unlock and being able to get her out. I don't know if it's going to be extra shards or if it just as a head start, you know? So, yeah, from what I can tell right now, if you guys are planning on focusing on one or both teams, I would definitely recommend just focusing on one because with 5 characters on each team, and if you're bringing them to 105, it's gonna be it's not only gonna be a gold crunch, it's gonna be a training material crunch, and then you don't want to strap yourselves down like that because with a Nihilus around the corner and who knows what other characters are around the corner, this is definitely for sure like a massive trap. So for sure, I'm not going to be doing anything until we see what Eclipse looks like. Like, we have to first make sure we see what her kit is. And it does say here on here that she's going to be part of 2 game modes. Like, I'm going to guess right now, she's probably not going to be a raid team because we just got a raid team. And I mean, she could be. I could be wrong here. But I'm gonna go ahead and assume that it's most likely gonna be Cosmic Crucible because there was indications of it from the envoys that there might be some cloak and dagger synergies just based on some of the footage and some of the hints. But then that leads me to believe like, hey, are we getting another mode here? Could she have potentially other benefits to either like a war team and or arena? And I'm kind of thinking towards war because as you guys can already see, they've kind of gone through this massive overhaul with all these war teams and bringing everyone up to speed with the additions of like Winter Guard and now we have um I lost my train of thought there. So but yeah, Winter Guard, and it's part of their 2026 Q1 Q2, trying to revamp everything, try to get all cleaned up and ready to go. But anywho, let's jump into the game here so you guys can see. Also, I do want to apologize. We're still battling kind of through this cold, and yeah, everybody's still feeling pretty crappy. Actually, it's pretty wild. I guess yeah, whatever the bug that got everybody else finally got us, and it's yeah, it's definitely taking a toll on our household for sure. But let me just apologize now in advance for the coughing and sniffles and all that. So as you guys can see here, we have our 10 members of the team, and yeah, we've got basically 5 of the Winter Guard and 5 of the Champions. And as you guys can see, we have actually all 5 members of Winter Guard. So we kind of are at an advantage right there already. And plus, we have Red Guardian and an Omega Red at 105. So by that logic, if I was to do this event, the most efficient path forward would be, for myself anyways, would be to go for Winter Guard. And that would save me the most bang for my buck. Now, having said that, are they going to give us much value as the Champions? Because it is a raid team. And most raid teams, now with the launch of the new Annihilation raids, they will eventually be needed, right, and required. if you want to max out your difficulty. If you are one of those alliances that care about raids, right? We have a fairly decently kind of hybrid approach where we do care, but not to the point where we're forcing people until all the characters are out and they are free to play farmable, or they've handed out the shards. Much like Immortal Weapons, it took some time, but they eventually got the shards, and we're all slowly getting there in due time, right? But anyways, I've got a chart here. I'm gonna swing to here so you guys can see. And yeah, it's not anything fancy. I threw it into the spreadsheet, and then I asked the Chat GPT to populate it with some pretty pictures, and there we are. It took me about maybe like 5 or 10 minutes to do it, but anyways, so let's run the breakdown of it. So we've got Winter Guard on the left, and we got Champions on the right. So right off the get-go here, we already kind of know, like Winter Guard, they are a war defense team, and they're meant for war. So there's no mistaking to that. And Champions, we know that's the newest and latest raid team. And actually, what's not evident here is the fact that they actually are for 2 raids. They're for both Annihilation and for the Spotlight raids. Excuse me. So keep in mind now that they got pretty much double the value. They are meant to replace the Alpha Flight, which I feel like if people haven't leveled them up, or if you're starting out, now you can basically just go straight for the Champions, especially when they do become available for farming. So there's a caveat there. So between the two teams right there, I'd say right now Champions kind of have a little edge. Farmability, well, Winter Guard is nice because now we have, as of last week, or this week, or last week, what do you want to call it? We had Ursa Major and we had Darkstar. They're both in the seasonal store now, right? The Fractal store. So you can farm those shards up if you wish. And also keep in mind, in the blog, they indicated that there's an Ursa Major and a Darkstar event prior to the Eclipse event coming. I think there's like 50 shards at Ursa Major, and then there's 25 of Darkstar. It'll be in the command center, and there'll be some sort of power-up event. Very similar to what they did this week. So, I mean, right there, you don't even have to do too much, and you pretty much all have all 5 characters unlocked. Now, with regards to the other one, we just got Moon. So I have 2 to 3 weeks out for Moon Girl because, normally when she does get released, which, she was released on Wednesday, it usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks before they allow for her to be added into the store. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean she's going to be added into the game free to play through some sort of event. That might take even longer. Like we just got Cannonball now, and he was like a December character. That's like 2 months later. So I don't know. And next week, theoretically, we're starting to see the new mutants roll in, but yeah, that's like a month later. So realistically, Moon Girl and Nova will most likely be coming probably like, I don't know, like end of the month, maybe into March. So just keep that in mind. Like, so right now, what that means for you guys is you got to use your power cores. But do you want to use your power cores? Because we have a leaderboard event coming as well. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one, guys. Lots of people do probably have power cores sorted up, and they probably could get them unlocked instantly. But the question is do you want to? And also keep in mind, Sam's not even in the game yet. He's coming actually on Thursday. He'll be coming in about like 4 or 5 days. So he's not even in the game, even if you want him. Excuse me. So again, you got to weigh out the pros and the cons. And is this event coming? Is the event coming soon? Because in that case, if it's coming right around the corner here, and they gave us a blog update on it, then that tells us that we're gonna need to use power cores if you want to partake, if you decide to choose the Champions route. I also like how the distribution of the teams is a bit more balanced as well with the Winter Guard. They have 3 mutants and 2 skill, which to me, in my opinion, is a little bit more balanced than 4 bio, 1 tech. Like, the bio side is gonna just kill us. Like, that's kind of what I'm scared of right now. Like, for sure, we know the Champions are gonna be required, but 4 characters. This is giving me Immortal Weapon vibes, because when we brought up Thunderstrike and we brought up Brimstone, which was like 4 members, or 3 or 4. I think 4 because Hellcat was skill. And then right after that, Immortal Weapons came around and kicked us in the nuts because we had like more Mystic. So I don't know. They knew we had lots of Mystic kicking around, and they just decided to kick us in the face with it. But very likely here in this situation as well. Excuse me. So what I'm thinking is, if you have lots of biomaterial, or if you are deciding to go this champions route, like start buying that biomaterial in the store because it's gonna suck. It's 75 pieces of per whatever, right? So I have to check that actually. I don't know if it's 75, maybe more, but I think the standard is 75 per character. So that means you need at least 300 pieces. And even if you have that amount and it's fine and dandy, that's still 300 pieces that's going to eat up into your coffers. And then you're kind of like, whoa, what happened to my bio gear? So anyways, yeah, so we'll see. You don't necessarily need to push them to tier 20, but it still eats up a lot of bio materials. Having said that, though, because you are bringing 4 bio up characters, and if you decide to push them beyond 105, I haven't pushed anybody pretty much past 106 or 105, but if you do decide to push them beyond that, then you can do that maxed out event, and I think there is a section on there where it's like 5 characters, bio, non-mythic. So the synergy of the 4 characters that you would have would be able to push for those events at least. Get a couple extra goodies in there. Because if you're going to blow, I guess if you're blowing, close to 50 mil per character, well, you might as well get some of those little goodies back in the form of the maxed out event, right? So, I mean, that's kind of just, but that doesn't change the fact, like, that's still a lot of biomaterials, and it's definitely something to think about. Like, if you guys are thinking about the champions, then that's definitely something to consider, right, in your store right now. The last thing I'll leave you guys with here, and it's probably the most important, and I want to leave it last so you guys can kind of mull it over and think about it, because usually people, like, I don't know, people have told me that the last thing is usually the most important because that it sticks with people, right? And it's the synergies. So with Winter Guard, we know that they're a war team. We know that. There's no question about that, right? They have synergies mainly with war, and I've played against them in Cosmic Crucible. They're not great. They're kind of like, their stats are good, right? They are 3.0 stats, and that's probably the biggest thing, but they're easily counterable, right? That you can use many different teams, and they just fall to anything. Actually, I haven't really had too many issues with them. Having said that, now we switch over to champions, and they've got Cosmic Crucible synergies with Sam, with the Starjammers. There's also some war bonuses, war benefits from Moon Girl, and with Braun as well. Braun directly impacts the war part with the Gamma team, but it doesn't change the fact that he gives synergy to the other war teams. So there is theoretically still war bonuses there, but then Moon Girl tops it off and adds another little, like a nice add-on, right? And of course, we know they're a raid team. They're for both raid sections. So right now, they're pretty much hitting all the spots. They're hitting Cosmic Crucible, they're hitting war, and they're hitting raids. So really, I mean, you have to ask yourselves right now, what are you getting more bang out of your buck for? So yes, they're going to be a little more expensive with the 4 bio pieces, or 4 bio character full pieces, and the farmability for them isn't great right now. But the end game projection, I mean, if you're focused on what the bigger picture is, then I would definitely say the champions team right now is probably the way to go. We'll jump back in here, and yeah, like I said, I don't want to make any rash decisions just yet. Sit tight, watch what the other content creators do, watch what the envoys do, because this is a large amount of gold. It's a large amount of resources, and we're heading into one of the worst crunches of Marvel Strike history. And I do feel like if you don't pay attention, and if you don't, try to prioritize what's important, you're really going to screw yourselves, especially when Annihilus is released. Yeah, that's just my personal opinion. And even right now, I would say, given the circumstances and given the situation that my roster is in, we have 3 characters. 2. Well, oh, sorry, not. Yeah, like 3, 2, 2. Well, we pretty much have 2 out of the winter guards fully built up almost. And then we have none of the champions. Like, no one's even past 100, right? So right now, it's looking like champions is not really the best favorable option for me. But the problem is am I thinking about the big picture here? Because we're going to eventually need them for raids. We're going to eventually need them in the future for, if they decide to change up spotlights, because alpha is kind of on their way out. So you will need them eventually. And they have synergies in 3 out of the game modes that we play, right? Cosmic Crucible, War, and Raids. Well, Raids is kind of a double bonus because they hit both sides of the faucet. Now, their shards are farmable though, so that's the problem. And as you guys can see here, my gold is fine, but my power cores isn't in really. Thanks to the Magneto event, my power cores is kind of in shambles. So I don't know if I'm going to be making any rash decisions here just yet until we figure out what Eclipse looks like, what her kit's like, what team she's on, and then of course as well, what are these rewards that they're talking about for her unlock? Like, is it going to be worth the cost versus the benefit, right? And you want to make sure you analyze that, and when it does get released, I for sure will, voice my concerns and voice my opinions and figure out if it's worth your value or not. But I'd say right now, guys, sit tight. It looks like it's another big fat trap, but you can start thinking about what you want to do, because this is the same thing like with Thunderstrike, with the Thunderstrike raids. We knew it was coming back a third time, and we knew we needed a lot of Mystic gear, so I was refreshing the store. I was buying anything that even looked purple in the store, and of course then we were able to push all our characters up to the tier 20 that we need. So I don't want to have to do that, but it's just something, like I already said, you got to think about. And right now the big fat restriction here is the bio materials, because we don't know what the restrictions are. I mean, if they don't require tier 20, great. But also keep in mind, like, Annihilus is around the corner, and I'm assuming that there's most likely going to be ways that we get extra bonuses from either leveling or maybe gearing tier characters up, and whatever. They always do something to celebrate it, right? So it's either way you look at it, we're kind of screwed, because it's going to be a trap that we kind of have to fall ourselves into. But I want to see what that trap is before we actually commit, right? And if it's not worth our benefit, right? If it's not worth it, like that maxed out event where we're not bringing characters up past 105. There's also that race to 110, like that in the command center. Like, we haven't even looked at that thing. That thing has just been, we don't care about that thing. There's still like quite some time. I think 20 some days on it or whatever. But it is fastly approaching, and we'll have to think about that as it gets closer and closer, because we do want to get some free stuff if you can, right? But anyways, guys, I hope this has helped you guys out. Hopefully this made sense. What do you guys think? Are you guys leaning towards Winter Guard, or are you guys leaning towards Champions? And please, don't do both teams. I mean, if you've already done the one team, I mean, it's kind of too late. But please don't do both teams. I mean, if you have the resources and the materials and you can do both teams, that's your decision. That's fine. But I feel like you're really gonna cripple yourself moving forward, because that's a lot of materials. That's a lot of gold. I don't even know if I can hit all 9 or 10 of these guys. That's a lot of gold, and that's a lot of resources. And yeah, like I already alluded to earlier, we got to be smart with it. Scopely's being stingy as they have ever been in all the time that I've played this game, and I've never seen it such a crazy bottleneck of resources, and they just keep taking and taking and taking from us, making things less and less available, like T4s, stripping down our milestone rewards. Yeah, it's been brutal, guys. It's been brutal. But that's another story for another day. I want to appreciate you guys for watching and tuning in, and I will catch you guys maybe tomorrow for my Fast 3. Otherwise, guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Stay warm, stay healthy, stay all that good stuff.